Welcome, I'm Scott Drake, and thanks for watching Annuity News Now. Today my guest is Bob Hogan of Richardson, Texas. Bob, welcome. Bob, talk about how you got into the business, because you've had a pretty historical career.
Originally, I started my career with a wirehouse, and then over time I gravitated to the banking firms. And as I started doing business with people in West Texas, and primarily with oil operators, back at that time, which is essentially in the 70s, we had 80% income tax on unearned income. This is a horrendous bite, and people just won't stand for it. So I was asked over time, can you help me with this problem? Can you solve it? And my standard answer has always been, I don't know, but I'll go find out. As time went on, I did learn to solve these things, and I realized I was on the wrong side of the transaction. In other words, where you need to be is in the preservation of wealth and reducing taxation, and that's what I've devoted the last 40 years of my career to.
Bob, talk about who your typical client is. Are they just oil people?
Well, when it started off, it was primarily with oil operators because I was doing business in Midland and in Abilene. But over time, you gravitate to, you just cover, basically you cover the bases. I have entrepreneurs, I have accountants, I have doctors, I have lawyers, I have dentists. But one thing I've learned with all these people, as we've done business together, I try to convert them all into swans. And when I say swan to them, they always look at me like I'm crazy. But what a swan is people who sleep well at night.
Bob, how would you characterize how you do business for your clients?
Well, I've learned over the years that the motto I have on my business card is really the way to run business and to manage people's money. And that is for protected returns and safety of principal. As I've been doing this for over 40 years, I can safely say that I don't have anybody mad at me. When you're in the markets, essentially these things are out of your control. The business has changed over the last 40 years. The individual investor is now trying to deal with people who are trading off of computers. I don't think he really has a chance. So I choose to, once again, make sure that my clients are well and that they are indeed swans.
Bob, you take on a lot of responsibility. Are you a one-man show?
Well, I wouldn't call myself a one-man show because I've learned over the years how important it is to have professional help. So consequently, I work with some of the major law firms in Dallas. I work with CPAs and with other investment advisors. Utilizing these people then allows me to bring the solutions into the equation that solves my clients' problems.
When clients come to you, do they typically have some kind of plan in place, or do you generally have to fix things?
Well, the sad thing about people's money right now after these markets is that people do bring me their problems, and these things are broken. So I sort of regard myself as being a mechanic. I fix things. I understand that people out there have different desires for their money, and some of them take a very, very aggressive stance towards investing, and they take a lot of risk. When I receive a client like that, I thank them for the opportunity to do business with them, but I send that someplace else. I have found that my reason for being is to help these people with their serious money and to be sure that their assets are there for their utilization and then to pass it on to their heirs. The long and short of this is I stick to my motto, which is protected returns and safety of principal. This has stood me well and my clients well for over 40 years.
Great, Bob. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me.
My guest has been Bob Hogan of Richardson, Texas, and you're watching Annuity News Now.